Breathe alone. Breathing together. Anastasia.
Everyone gathered here, please release your exhale and breathe with me as I sing When I Breathe In. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Join me with mics muted in this meditation. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. And on to ease. When I breathe in, I breathe in ease. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Ellie.
Thank you, Anastasia. Welcome to the Star King School for the Ministry March Chapel service, where we can hold each other in a community of breathing together. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge a part of our interconnectedness and name some religious observances taking place this month. Our Islamic friends and neighbors have begun the holy month of Ramadan. Our Christian friends and neighbors, Ash Wednesday is tomorrow and Lent begins. Our Hindu friends and neighbors will celebrate Holi, the Hindu festival of colors, next week. And our Baha'i kin will celebrate Nowruz, the New Year, later in March. March is also Women's History Month, and March 8th is set aside as International Women's Day. Amidst the chaos of our world, let's remember that we can also celebrate the interconnectedness of joy. Again, I welcome each of you into this space of creating community in word, in song, in contemplation, and in dreaming or in breathing together. Pastor Jacqueline.
Thank you, Kelly. In honor of Mother Nature, we acknowledge the harm that we humans have inflicted on Earth. We proclaim our love for Earth, and we're sorry for our individual and global mistreatment. As spiritual religious people, we are called to be grateful stewards of Mother Earth. We have a responsibility to grapple with the herstories and histories of colonialism, boldly speaking aloud what these stories mean. Today, but for all that is good, right, and just, we acknowledge that the coastal region of Central and Northern California, which includes Oakland, has a history going back to 2000 BCE. That time, the people of this land were the Ohlone. This land, their land, is where Star King School for the Ministry sits. This land was stolen from the Ohlone people. That was wrong, horrible. The Oakland community is actively acknowledging the Ohlone people and Ohlone land by partnering with the Sigourney T. Land Trust to return a portion of Joaquin Miller Park, known as Sequoia Point, to the indigenous people. They're also looking into changing the name of Fairyland. Some of us know that as a place where we take our children. They're going to change it to Ohlone Land to honor the indigenous heritage of this area. Please take a moment to place in the chat the name of the lands you live on and maybe a little bit about how where you live are trying to honor and give back. Please use the chat as you see fit.
This is also our time for chalice lighting. This chalice is one public symbol of Unitarian Universalism, a faith path that many of us share. Please join me in saying the Star King chalice lighting words, which will be in the chat. With the kindling of this flame, we reaffirm our commitment to accept life's gifts with grace and gratitude, and to use them to bless the world with the spirit of love. The white and red candles are a tradition created to accompany the chalice lighting by our Emerita President Rebecca Parker. The white candle symbolizes violence, suffering, and death, and serves as a reminder that we gather in a time of war. The red candle symbolizes the abiding reality of love and the shared work to restore the human community and the earth to wholeness and harmony.
Please join us and rise in body or spirit to sing. And if you feel the urge to move, I encourage you to gather here. Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gather here in one strong body. Gather here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gather here in one strong body. Gather Spirit, draw near. Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gather here in one strong body. Gather here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near.
Thank you. We're here today in this space to experience community, to create community as we share our breath together, sharing with each other the sacred breath that sustains us. We invite you to step aside from the chaos of the world for a moment, to renew your heart, your faith, your hopes, to breathe together, to remember that you are not alone, to remember that we breathe together, and to acknowledge in this moment that we need each other. I'm asking you to share your presence here as completely as you are willing and able, to notice the Zoom window frames connecting us from a distance, to see and to feel these offerings of presence shared freely. As we hold each other in community and breathe together. Breath is a powerful force. Breath is warning to stop when we have overextended ourselves. Our breathing changes when faced with danger or the unexpected. Fear causes me to hold my breath, waiting for the moment to pass. I experience a powerful force of breath in regulating myself, calming, bringing strength, allowing my mind clarity, making better informed choices, responding rather than reacting in unexpected moments. I imagine breath as regenerative as I learn to better observe the changes in that simple and necessary process. And I love the experience of breathing together with another person or persons. Yes, I'm resistant at times, not wanting to surrender my own control. Yet the connectedness beyond myself are restorative times, regenerative, and life-sustaining. I experience in breathing together the large knowing that we are not alone and that together we are powerful. I feel purposeful knowing that I am part of supporting or sustaining you. I feel like I matter, like we all matter, that each of us has a contribution to make, no matter how small or insignificant that contribution might seem at times. I feel needed. I feel necessary. I feel supported and held by life when I turn my awareness to breathing together. Breathe with me for a moment. With each other in community. When you breathe with me, I know I'm supported when I can't support myself. I am grateful for all of you who allow that in me, and grateful that you allow me to support you as well. Amen.
I offer you this Buddhist slogan and this reading from Buddhist teacher John Rockwell. First, the slogan. Feeling the body and hearing sounds. Be relaxed and alert with good head and shoulders. Raise your breastbone a little bit to open the heart area. Let your gaze be open and soft, looking ahead. Begin by feeling your whole body, which connects you to this world. Feel from your heart how your body and senses are inseparable from this world. Let go of any effort to try and connect through your senses. Realize that your senses are already connected. You are already breathing. Appreciate that experiences are inseparable from ever-present, spontaneous awareness. After you have settled, be inquisitive about what the experience of hearing sound and silence is like. Does awareness go out to hear a sound? Or does the sound come into awareness? Do awareness and sound meet somewhere in between? Where exactly does hearing a sound take place? From time to time, close your eyes to hear more clearly, to listen more closely. Listen from your heart and your whole body precisely, nakedly, and freshly to whatever sounds and silences arise. Do not split off from your direct experience to think about these questions or watch yourself. This is a full body and heart listening practice. Be relaxed and totally involved with the direct, naked, non-conceptual experience of listening and hearing. You can bring these instructions into your everyday existence, your everyday life of wandering and being in the world. Sound is itself a transmission. It will give you transmission of its nature. And if we open our heart and senses, we can know this to be true. The insight of space awareness is egolessness. We don't need me or the watcher to be aware, and me is not needed to hear sounds. In this practice, it is more accurate to say that sound hears itself. This is a transmission of direct experience, which can happen anywhere. And so it is.
Our mother, we must take care of her. The earth is our mother, we must take care of her. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. The earth is our mother, she will take care of us. The earth is our mother, she will take care of us. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana, hey yan yan. The sky is our father. Father. We will take care of him. The sky is our Father. We will take care of him. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan. The sea is our sister. We will take care of her. The sea is our sister. We will take care of her. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan. The forest is our brother. We will take care of him. The forest is our brother. We will take care of him. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan. Hey yana ho yana hey yan yan.
Friends, family, beloved colleagues, I invite you to step into a moment of prayer with me. And in the spirit of this theme, let's start with a deep breath in. Mother Earth, Father Sky, you who makes beautiful things out of the dust and out of us. We are so grateful for this opportunity to come together in community and in love and commitment to one another, so that we all take a pause from all that is happening in the world and in the country and in each of our lives individually, and tune in to that which binds us and holds us to each other. With such great gratitude to the first people that tend to the lands that we walk on and live from. And such great gratitude to all of the events in our lives that have led us to this moment where we can sit in breath together. I ask a spirit of calm and serenity and great peace be placed upon all who attend this and all who come in contact with them as they move through the rest of their day. May this moment of gathering and careful attention to one another and what we all do for one another and be for one another be both blessed and a great blessing. And may anything that moves through us that is not for us be far away from us and compost with ease. And may this devotion of attention be both blessed and great blessing. Such great gratitude for the beautiful teachers here at Star King who taught me how to pray this way. I invite you all, please, to put your joys and your sorrows into the chat and share with us what is on your heart and spirit. If you would like Pastor Jacqueline to get in touch with you, please indicate that, and she will respond within 48 hours. And if your situation is urgent, please reach out to Pastor Jacqueline today. We're going to take a quiet moment as you all choose to share what you may. Thank you all for what you've shared.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. I said, we will not fear. And even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, we will not fear. I said, we will not fear. Though it's water, though the mountains shake with their swelling, I said, we will not fear. I said, we will not fear.
Thank you to Anastasia for that beautiful offering. Oh, friends, welcome, welcome. I am so pleased to talk to you today. Last August, I went to California for Symposium. I got to see so many of your beautiful faces in person. It was a dream. And I used the excuse of being on the West Coast to drive down to my best friend's farm in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I spent a week with her and her wife. I brought my partner along, and the four of us just got to spend a beautiful week together, walking their gorgeous land and swimming in their pool and eating delicious food. And on our first full day there, Phoenix, my beloved bestie, brought my partner and I to a local hiking trail that led down to a spring bed that was filled with ice melt from the Yosemite Mountains. Now, at the time, hiking was a thing of my past that had rarely borne good fruit for me. My body is big and my lungs are often stressed, and climbing is hard for me to do. But Phoenix is not the friend who will just let you get away with not trying something. And so I agreed to go and give it an earnest shot. Y'all, I'm going to keep it so real with you right now. This hike had me stressed and pressed. I was huffing and puffing my way through the first leg of it like a locomotive. I had committed, but I wasn't there spiritually. I knew in my bones, though, that the only way to actually endure the hike was to engage it instead of reluctantly with all of who I was. And so I took a deep breath and I looked at my beloveds ahead of me on the trail. And I saw the trees sway in the breeze, and I heard the insects and the birds living loudly around me. And I realized I was not breathing alone. So I did a sort of dance in conversation with the needs of my body, and I walked with moderate speed. And when I felt like I was tired or I was short of breath, I just asked my beloveds to pause with me. And they did, again and again. No matter how annoying I felt I was being, they indulged me. When I made it to the bottom of this hike, a new challenge awaited me, a polar plunge, which on a normal day I would have never considered, but I felt like I'd thrown my pity in with the hike, and so the plunge was the pound I was throwing in as well. And friends, I cannot stress to you enough how cold this water was. It was freezing. When I took off my shoes and I stepped my foot into it, I was assaulted by the temperature. The cold hit like fire, shocking and overwhelming in a way that only the natural world could offer up to me. But after my feet were fully submerged and I took another deep breath, I looked across from me and my beloveds were splashing wildly in the spring They had great smiles on their faces, and I heard the birds flapping above me. It was a beautiful summer day in California. And at my side, a waterfall was crashing gorgeously into clear water. And I remembered once again that I was not breathing alone. After several years, probably around 90 seconds, while the water waited for me to want it more, I walked forward and waded into about my knees before pausing and doing the same sort of dance of chatting and talking to my friends and trusting this time that eventually I would want the water more. And when I did, I made it all the way to my waist, and encouragement started pouring in from every direction from my beloveds, yes, but also from all the animals and plants around that were swaying gorgeously, celebrating how gorgeous the day was and how refreshing the water was. And eventually, once I made it up to my chest, my body just went numb. It had acclimatized for me in a way that my spirit had not done yet. And so I decided at that point to trust my body. And I closed my eyes. I took a final big, deep breath. And I looked one more time at all of the world around me, and it exhaled beautifully as I submerged myself into icy oblivion. When I came up for air, I did not feel cold. I'm sure I was, but it didn't register to me in that moment. I felt instead like I had been electrocuted with dopamine, like my body was made of something altogether bigger than the concept of temperature. Like I'd completed a total factory reset on my physical form. I at once could not believe I had dreaded the hike. I couldn't conceptualize doubting that my body was capable of doing a hard thing when I do hard things all the time. I wept, and around me there were cheers and smiles and a big, cold, wet hug from my best friend who, quite correctly, never doubted my ability to overcome that hard thing. I belonged in that spring like every other living organism that was in it, naturally and without any other adornment. And as I stood under the running water of that waterfall, I felt like I was not separate from it. Not any of it. Not at all. Here's the thing, though. This story is not about a hike. The story is about what happened 2 days later when my phone rang and I got news that my apartment back in Georgia had erupted into flames and that the fire department was breaking in to my front door to put that fire out. Most of the time immediately following that call exists only as a blur of something big and scary and hard unfolding around me. But I do remember feeling, for the most part, genuinely okay. I remember feeling very grateful for my safety and for the safety of all the things that I had brought with me to California. My apartment was destroyed, but I was fine. More than anything, I remember feeling extremely and unbelievably blessed. Almost from the second the fire started in Georgia that Friday night, the people who love me around the world mobilized into a force for care and calm and love that I genuinely did not comprehend could exist for my benefit until that night. My closest friends, the ones who got a call or a text right away, showed up in a myriad of different ways, feeding me, clothing me, housing me, being with me. And every single night of those first few weeks after the fire, I took deep breaths in and I remembered how much I was never supposed to breathe alone. When my body rebooted under the crash of icy cold, standing under that waterfall, I wasn't standing there alone. I was surrounded by living things that day. That each day and each night and each season moved through the same cycles of rebirth and regulation that I was experiencing inside of myself. And moreover, my beloveds were with me there too. I did the hard things because they believed that I could, so much so that I started to believe that I could. When it got hard, they waited for me to be ready, like the water waited for my body to adjust to its temperature before it claimed more of me, like my legs waited for my lungs to inflate smoothly before they took on more of the hike. And since that Friday night in August, some things have happened in this world, in this country, that leave me feeling a lot like I did at the start of that, puffing and puffing, sad, pressed, stressed. We are undoubtedly in a season of great hardship and darkness. But like in the fire, key things stick out to me in all this horribleness. My friends are very good at rallying, still to this day. You'd think that after all that's been thrown at us just in the past few weeks, we'd all be flagging. But what I have witnessed since January 20th is a people who fight back. I see in this congregation right now a group of people who knows that, as the Reverend Mary Catherine Mourn so beautifully put it, the only way we protect that which we are a part of is relationally. I am hardened by the people of our faith tradition, by their capacity to love in ways that actually impact the lives of those around them, by their ability to show up when their neighbors are waist deep in frigid water and don't know yet how to take their next steps in. The hike taught me something I needed to know to survive the fire and everything that has come after it. You don't do it alone. Whoever you are and whatever it is, you don't do it alone. You literally can't, even if you try. There are forces, see, in this world that stubbornly and without waiting for your permission have your back. How blessed are we to know and be known by the cells in our body that acclimatize before we even catch up to it? How blessed are we to be a part of a world so equipped for the challenge of us? How blessed are we to spend our lives in relationship to entities of which we are, by some miracle, by some blessed design, a glorious and wholly necessary part of. May this lesson of belonging carry us through these times. Ashe, Amen, and blessed be.
Everyone, I'm about to sing a song called When the Spirit Says Move. And I would love for you to join me in muted mics. Now I'm going to clap my hands. And if you feel the urge to move, let the Spirit move through you as we dance and sing this chant. When the Spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, when the Spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, when the Spirit says move, you got to move. 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 Sing along with me on muted mics. When the Spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, when the Spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, when the Spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, you got to move. You got to move. Next one is do. Oh, when the Spirit says do, you got to do. You got to do. Oh, when the Spirit says do, you got to do. You got to do. Oh, when the Spirit says do, you got to do. 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 Next to see. Oh, when the Spirit says see, you got to see. You got to see. Oh, when the Spirit says see, you got to see. You got to see. Oh, when the Spirit says see, you got to see. 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 Final one move. Oh, when the spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. Oh, when the spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. I tell you, when the spirit says move, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. I said, you got to move. You got to move. Ashe, and thank you, y'all.
Who are you breathing with? Please join me in our community conversation. And that is our question. Who are you breathing with? You can unmute and speak your response aloud, or you can write your responses in the chat, and I will read them aloud with no name attached. So consider for a moment, who are you breathing with?
I'll get the ball rolling and share out loud to you all that my beloved Phoenix, who supported me through that gorgeous hike and the subsequent fire, um, and I have been breathing together quite a bit lately as she prepares to say goodbye to her father as he weds the beloved soon. And so I have been breathing with her.
I am breathing with my dad, Charles, and my father-in-law, David. My father turns 90 in a couple of weeks, and so does my father-in-law. So I am breathing a sense of gratitude that I am still able to be in the presence of these two honorary, crouchety, loud, but loving men.
Breathing with my aunt, who had a brain aneurysm operated on last week and is doing really well, but I still feel the need to feel supportive. And with my mother, who went through the stress of her sister and best friend going through that and not being there for her in body anyway.
Megan, I'm going to partner and breathe with you and read what's in the chat. Amy says, I think I forgot that I could breathe with someone.
I've been breathing quite a lot with my mother, who is 86, and as every year spends part of the year with me. She usually lives in Italy. And navigating a time that looks in many ways so similar to when she was a child. And I also breathe quite a lot with the dogs that live with us. That's one of the most beautiful time, is sometimes just to be in sync with them.
As we close, we have some words for you. Breathing, we breathe together here, so we may go on to breathe with the wider world.
Remember breathing together as you go through your day and your week, and the strength of your breathing companions.
No need to force what is already there. You are already breathing. Everyone is already breathing. Sink into what is already there and respond with your whole heart.
In times like these, I really like to turn to my spiritual leaders and teachers who've done beautiful writing. And Cole Arthur Riley has offered our community beautiful book titled Black Liturgies that many of you, I'm sure, know and have intimate relationships with. And as she shares these out on social media, she invites folks to do an inhale and exhale breathing exercise with different affirmations after each. And so I'm going to invite you all here as we close out our service to breathe with me as I read some of these affirmations. So I'm going to take off my glasses and get comfortable in my body and invite you all to do the same as you are able. And take a deep breath. Inhale. Hear the words that many streams. Exhale. Lead to the same waters. Take another deep breath in. That liberation. And exhale. Has many doors. Take another breath in. All that I need, all that we need, all that you need. And exhale is available to you in the natural world. And finally, this is of my own composition. Take one deep breath in, as deep as it can go. I am of the garden. And you exhale. The garden is of me. Thank you all for your presence, your care, your devotion of attention.
Anastasia, could we just have one verse of that closing song, please? One verse.
Yes, Pastor, thank you. Everyone, please rise in body, voice, and spirit with our closing song, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Go forth, beloveds.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We have a few minutes before noon. You might want to say hello or chat with someone in the block next to you, or have some words you might want to say to the co-creators of this service. Please do. And I'd like the co-creators to stay on just for a few minutes after everyone leaves. Thank you. The chat says, thank you, everyone. That was beautiful. Thank you for a very restorative, inspiring service. Thank you. Thank you very much. This was beautiful and very moving. Thank you so much. Lots of heart emojis. Bye-bye, Reverend Gabriella. Bye, Claire. It's good to see you. Okay, Megan, Anastasia, G, Kelly. After all of that worry, after all of that, I don't know, after all of that, I can't, I'm not so sure. You guys just blew me away. Kelly, where did you get those words from? Where did you come up with all that breath and breathing in your words, like connecting? And Anastasia, where did the drums come from? Where did the singing come from? Where did the like, and Megan, no hands in front of the face, like, while you're like calm and G, like, okay, you don't need a preaching class. Like, oh my gracious, people. Amazing, truly, truly amazing. What spirit can do and letting go to be together, trusting. Whew. So a few minutes, what worked well? What worked well for you personally or just as a group? What did you think worked well? Don't be shy now.
Our handoffs worked well, and I could tell that we were all present and competent, and we felt at ease with that, and that made all the difference.
I think what worked really well was a conscious decision I saw in all of my co-creators to, I think, take the advice that we were here to offer community and take the deep breath and let spirit take over. Everybody did such a beautiful job. Their words flowed. It felt cohesive. We didn't all say the same thing, but we said such similar things. And that felt really good. I think we all spoke to things that were really personal and deep to us. And Anastasia, I have to say, the drums, I said, no, when did this happen?
So yeah, the drums, I loved that because that's my favorite song because I knew that since childhood. And the drums, I was like, oh, that's perfect.
It was
Yeah.
so good. You did so beautifully, friend. I mean, just your voice. God be with us.
Yeah. And it's funny because when I was a kid and learned that song and like for conventions, when you'd go like in middle school and meet with other UU youth, we used to sing that song and do like a spiral and go into the center and then out and form a circle for like the ingathering of a weekend conference. And so there was always sort of like some sort of drum or rhythmic instrument to keep us, because we were spiraling. So that was really cool. I was like, oh my God, this is my childhood. It was wonderful. I also think for me personally, the breathing, which I love anyway in life, but for letting go, because like the first thing that I was supposed to put in the chat, I put it in the chat thing and then I didn't hit enter. So luckily it was a song that the public was not supposed to sing along with, because I realized as Anastasia was finishing that the words hadn't actually shown up in the chat. And I was like, what? And then I realized I hadn't pressed enter. So I was the breathing and the fact that we were like doing that with everyone else allowed me to let go of the fact that I made this mistake. So that was good because it was early on, so it would have been a problem if I'd held on to it.
Megan, I don't think it was a mistake. It was spirit saying it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. The words were not needed because Anastasia had it. Yeah. Anything else that comes to your body that says that it worked well?
I'm so relaxed after this thing. I'm usually a nervous wreck doing the whole thing, but and I usually don't participate in any way except for tech stuff. I think this is maybe the second time. I like it, and even that, I just, to me, it was like, what do I do? Start out with mistakes and sharing the thing. It's like, oh well, you know what? This is what we do. And I appreciate that all of us. I don't know if anybody else feels like they did mistakes or not, but nobody notices. nobody notices. It's all in your own thing. And Anastasia, I was watching your face, like trying to time the 1 minutes and the pauses in between. And you're great. It's like, okay, time to do it. No problems. You were so expressive with all of that. And everybody felt so connected and present today. Thank you.
And Kelly, I think I heard you like speak off script. There was something spontaneous in your words. I'm going like, check out Kelly.
Yeah,
What
because
did you think? Go ahead, Kelly.
I wait till the last minute to put anything on paper. Like I finished that at 10:15. So yeah, it's a really bad habit. I hate doing it. Every time I have to do a sermon, it's like, okay, 5:30 in the morning, I know I'm going to finish this. But the part that I think was the benediction, because I wasn't sure, I don't know, I didn't know how I would feel. It's easier for me to feel into something than to think into something.
Sounded spirit-filled to me. I want to keep you. So what did you think you would have tweaked? You would have done differently now that you've given this service? What would you have done differently?
I would have asked for 10 minutes instead of 7 minutes for my homily.
Okay, next time you got it.
I don't know that I would have done anything different than what I already did, but I know that I still have much to learn and improvements can be made. And I trust that I will improve with practice and with humbly receiving critique and advice from my peers and teacher who are more knowledgeable than I am, I think, especially with regard to the flow and shaping the spirit of a UU service. So I will offer that.
Thank you. As a teacher, I don't know that I have more knowledge. I just know I have more experience. And I think experience sometimes for me is the knowledge that I need. Anything else that you would tweak? This is what ministry, preaching, being in the streets, whatever, wherever you're using your voice, this is what it is. You can't practice for it all. You have to feel it. I remember Anastasia saying, Pastor Jacqueline, how am I going to do this if I can't feel the songs? How am I going to, but look, wow, look what the feeling came through in those songs. You just have to sometimes just trust the body. Just trust your spirit and allow yourself to be in that place. Yeah. So thank you for trusting and being and showing up to practice, to talk together. Beloveds, go in peace. Were you going to say something more, G?
Yeah, would you mind staying on for just 1 second longer?
Sure. Yeah. Beloveds, go in peace. What you have learned and found in this time of being together, share with your colleagues. Share with your colleagues. Be kind to yourself in the rest of this day. Thank you, Megan. I'll see you next month. I'll
Yep,
see you in
thanks,
March.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
Anastasia. Bye,
everyone.
Kelly. I'm going to stay on a few minutes with G.
Wait just a second. I'm going to make who wants to be host because I am. Pastor Jacqueline, I'm going to put it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Kelly.
And I actually have a brief question regarding the link for next time. Where should I look to
I
receive
will,
the proper link?
next time I'm going to make sure that I send it when I send out the final flow. I'll make sure that I'll attach it there for all of us who are participating.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you.
Are you host?
Yes,
You are.
thank you,
Okay,
Kelly.
thanks.
Mhm. Yes, G. G, I think you're frozen. G, can you come back in? Yeah, there you are.
Oh, hi. I don't know
Hi.
what just happened there. It glitched for me.
That's okay.
This went beautifully, I think.
I agree.
I really enjoyed doing that. I I am very, very curious because I enjoyed doing this a lot more than I thought for at least the actual giving it part.
Mhm.
And I was curious if I could just have your attention face to face for another moment. I know we'll see each other tomorrow. Um,
Yes, yes.
but but I was curious about the like confines of your role as faculty at Star King and if you do skills with folks.
First, I'm not part of faculty, G. I'm
Okay.
staff.
Your
Yeah,
staff. All right.
I'm staff. So I don't think you can ask Reverend Dr. Latini or the Dean of Students, but I don't think I'm allowed. I don't think my contract says that I can do skills.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah. The other thing, I've been asked that before, under the auspice of spiritual direction, I can do spiritual
Mhm.
direction. And in spiritual direction, I have often served in that role. Someone's trying to build their capacity in a particular area. And so I can do that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's beautiful, and I will keep that noted.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, G. Have a beautiful day. And
You too. I'll
thank
see
you.
you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Your colleague.